Hey everyone, so for today's video, we are going to be doing another episode of Save or Splurge. And if you guys aren't familiar with the Save or Splurge videos, this is essentially my answer to the typical dupes video. I absolutely love comparing products on my channel, but I also think that dupe is a very overused word. I just think that comparing products, especially products that are similar, allows for more nuance, and that to me is really where you can get down into the nitty-gritty and actually find the products that are going to work for you. And that's what I like to do in these videos. So if you appreciate that, I do demo every single product that I talk about on my face so you can actually see the performance. If you appreciate all of that, thank you for being here, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up. So I have 6 different comparison duos to talk about today. Okay, so first up we have some cream liquid eyeshadows to talk about. Let's just first start with what is on my eyes. I've been testing this one out because I've been getting a lot of questions about it. This is the Stila Glitter and Glow Liquid Glitter Eyeshadow. It retails for $24. You get 0.15 ounces of product and it comes in 10 different shades. And also Stila has a couple of different versions of this product. Today I'm specifically talking about this Glitter and Glow, and this is the shade Smoldering Satin. On my eyes today, I only have this product. This is a one and done look, kind of playing around with something to do for New Year's. I've talked about before on my channel, you guys know that I really am kind of obsessed with cream eyeshadows, but something that I have found to be the case is that liquid eyeshadows are often one of the most finicky kind of cream products. There is just a lot of opportunity for patchiness, for products that set down too quickly. I just find that it's a little bit hit and miss for me, but something that a lot of liquid shadows have in common is that there is a good chance that they're going to last longer. So this liquid eyeshadow in particular is obviously a liquid glitter, but it has a base pigment to it. It has that liquid cream eyeshadow base, and I think that that is what makes this product really special. It helps to give the formula more consistency, and also the glitters within this formula lay really closely together in a way that makes this product very easy to use. But this product is very even. The glitters don't bunch up. You can apply this straight with the applicator, which is what I typically do, and then I'll just finesse with a brush and kind of get the outline and the look that I'm going for. And again, something that I find really easy to use about this product is that you can kind of blend out the edges and get a seamless look. It doesn't look very stark. I'm very, very, very picky with liquid eyeshadows, as I said before, and I've just been very pleased with this one. I also love that it lasts a really long time. So if you are into that really super glittery eye look, but you want something with longevity, you want it to be very easy to use, I think there is a reason why a lot of people enjoy these. And I also have to say, just right off the bat, this shade is absolutely gorgeous. I love taupey glitters especially, and this one has just really been doing it for me. But you know, this is $24, so let's talk about another option. This is the Revolution Eye Glisten Foil and Glitter Liquid Eyeshadow. This is in the shade It's Fate. They retail for $10. You get 0.14 ounces, and there are 4 different shade duos. Now you can see here, you have the more satin cream liquid color on one side, and then you have the glitter topper on the other. So you know, with the Stila, you do get that base pigment and the glitter kind of in one, whereas with the Makeup Revolution, this is a little bit more versatile because you could just go in with one side, but if you do want them to come together, it is going to take an extra step. This formula across the board is a little bit more wet than the Stila. I find that the Stila does have like a really nice balance between not being too wet but still giving you enough time to blend. As far as the satin formula goes, I find that when I apply it with the applicator, it gives me a very, very smooth sort of look, but then when I go to blend it out, it unfortunately starts to patch up a little bit. And again, that's something that I found with a lot of liquid shadows, is that typically you can apply it just with the applicator and you're like, wow, that's so even and gorgeous. But if you need to do any sort of blending, that is when it can kind of start to get a little bit finicky. As for the glitter, I do think that the glitter is pretty. If you are into more of a wash of glitter, a glitter that doesn't have that rich base pigment to it, you just kind of want just like a liquid glitter product to maybe add a little bit of twinkle here and there. This is good for that. And again, it is a little bit more of a wet formula. It almost kind of reminds me of like a glitter liquid liner kind of product. Again, it's quite wet, but the problem with this product, and unfortunately, it's a problem that, again, I see a lot. It's just not super flattering when you're using them together. I find that it just looks a bit heavy on my lids, and glitter is already a product that, you know, can be unflattering if not done well. I certainly have more dry eyelids, so that's something that I'm aware of. And I just find that it just isn't a product that is giving me that gorgeous shine that I'm looking for. It just ends up looking a little bit flat because it does look a little bit dry. The glitters kind of clump up on each other a little bit, and it just takes away from the shininess and the illusion of the makeup. Save or splurge, again, all of these are going to be open to interpretation, but personally, I would splurge because I have found that this is an incredibly high quality formula. Next up, let's talk about a foundation that has gotten a lot of attention this year. So this is the L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. It's what I'm wearing on my face today, and this is the shade 0.5. It retails for $19.99. You get 1 ounce of product, and it comes in 14 different shades. I'm always on the lookout for affordable options that are really high quality. So I was interested in trying this one out. The first thing that I will say that I don't like about this product is the bottle. It gets very messy. It is a dropper bottle. You know, it is a serum product, but it just is, it's just a messy product. I do wish that it was a pump. Aside from that, something that I think is really pretty about this base product is that it's just a nice kind of light coverage, smoothing look. It's not an overly dewy product. I would say it's definitely more kind of creamy to natural. And I think that this kind of product will work for a broader range of people because of that. I like that it's not just super, super dewy tinted moisturizer. I like that it does feel like it has a little bit more finesse to it. It definitely gives a soft kind of blurring effect. It will build a little bit, but you're not going to be able to get a ton of coverage out of this. But because it does have that blurring effect, it does kind of feel like there's more coverage than there might be. The texture is just more of a kind of liquid foundation serum kind of texture. It doesn't feel alcohol heavy, which is something that I don't like about a lot of serum products. A lot of brands will just put in like a crap ton of alcohol, and it really can dry out my skin. It blends really nicely. The only thing that I have trouble with this foundation sometimes is that occasionally it'll look a little bit dry around my nose. My nose is a problem area for me, especially because I was sick for like the last week. However, I really enjoy this foundation because it kind of warms up with your skin over time. And I find that like an hour in, it looks even better than it did when you first apply it. You could just go in with like a setting mist or a priming spray like the Essence of Healthy one from Physicians Formula. This one's my favorite, just to add a little bit of that moisture to get you to that phase faster. But let's compare it to the Fenty Eaze Drop. This retails for $29.50. You get 1.08 ounces and it comes in 25 different shades. So right off the bat, there are more shades within the Fenty line, which is awesome. My shade is the shade 2. And I have to say that when this initially launched, I was so excited for it, like insanely excited, just because the last 2 base launches from Fenty previously, both the Hydrating foundation as well as the matte, they didn't really work for me. The Hydrating foundation was a little bit better. This has a very thin, liquidy texture. This is definitely a more serum-like texture, And I do think that this texture is a touch thinner than the L'Oreal, slippier, and has a little bit more silicone to it. This also has a really nice blur to it. When you apply it onto the skin, it's not a product that, again, is overly dewy. It just has that touch of blur, definitely melts down into the skin. And I think that's something that people are looking for. That touch of elegance within a lighter coverage based product is something that I really enjoy myself. But I have to tell you that this is not a product that I reach for very often. And the reason why is that this product sometimes looks good and other times it doesn't. It's just not a consistent product for my skin. I oftentimes feel like my skin just looks more tired and dry. It doesn't have enough moisture for me. My skin overall just looks a bit flat. It does set down a little bit, but it also transfers pretty readily. I would say neither of these are super transfer resistant though. But at the end of the day, because this is more of a finicky based product, honestly, if I put on foundation and I'm like, this just isn't working for me, that's one step where I will literally just like restart my makeup. I do think if you're looking for a more lightweight blurring kind of tinted moisturizer product, I do think that this could still be one to look into. I know some people really enjoy it. So personally, save or splurge, I would say try out the one from L'Oreal. Next up, we have a newer launch from NYX, which is the Bare With Me Concealer Serum. I have mine in the shade Fair. It retails for $10.99 and you get 0.32 ounces of product. It comes in 13 different shades. And I have to tell you, I was so excited for this concealer launch. I was hearing again and again that this was just really hydrating and looked very flattering under the eyes. If you guys are not familiar with my concealer struggle, I have darkness under my eyes, I have a little bit more dry skin under my eyes, and I also deal with hollowness under my eyes. And I find that a lot of concealers, even if they're hydrating, even if they give me coverage, they sometimes can exaggerate the hollowness that I have under my eyes. And it is my mission with under eye concealer to find that formula that can kind of flatten out the area and make everything look smooth and plump. So I was really excited to try this one out. Now, something that I do really like is that this comes in a pump. I have to tell you that I was quite impressed by the amount of coverage that this product has as well. You really don't need much to give you a solid medium coverage. And I think that that is something really to keep in mind because you don't need much, and I don't think that this looks good with a lot applied. I think a little bit goes a long way, and it's going to be the most flattering when you use less. Now, that being said, I usually just pump out a little bit on the back of my hand and use a sponge to apply it under my eyes. And I find that it's really nice. I like the hydration. It's not overly dewy. It's more of a natural finish. Just lightly add a little bit under the eyes. I find that you just get a lot of coverage, you get good moisture, and overall, I can just see a lot of people really enjoying this one. Will crease, I mean, what concealer doesn't? Really are not many concealers that won't crease, but for me, what's more important is how the creasing looks. Does your skin still look hydrated? Because for me, if it creases but looks dry, that's more of an issue than if it creases but it still looks hydrating, because you can kind of just like tap out the creases. You know what I mean? I will say I don't think that this conceals my hollowness as much as I would like. It definitely doesn't exaggerate it, which is very important. But let's compare it to my holy grail, a concealer that you guys know I really love, which is the Kosas Revealer Concealer. It retails for $28. You get 0.2 ounces of product, and it comes in 28 different shades. I really can't see another concealer quite replacing the Kosas concealer, because it just gives me everything that I need. If you have hollowness under the eyes, dryness, darkness, but you need decent coverage, this concealer just looks so smooth and bright and healthy under the eyes. It gives you such a great amount of coverage without looking like a lot of coverage. Never exaggerates any of the hollowness under my eyes. If anything, again, it really plumps the area and smooths it out. But as far as save or splurge, of course, you guys know that I'm going to say I will continue to splurge on the Kosas. But with a caveat, if you don't have a lot of hollowness under your eyes the way that I do, or you don't have more deep set eyes the way that I do feel like it would be worth checking this one out. And even if you do have a little bit of hollowness, I do really like this concealer and I have been impressed with it. I don't think it's going to replace my Kosas, but I do think that this one is worth checking out. Again, just add a very little bit. You don't need much. And I think that a lot of you guys are gonna be impressed with this one. Next, let's talk about the Rare Beauty Liquid Lip Balms. They retail for $18. You get 0.12 ounces and there are 5 different shades. My favorite lip formula are liquid lip balms. I love a cushiony, gel, balmy texture for my lips. So I'm always interested in trying out new liquid lip balm formulas. This one came out, I believe, very early this year. I really, really enjoy them. They do have that really plush, balmy texture that feels cushiony and comfortable on the lips. They do have a touch of shine, a touch of pigment, but these are more on the translucent side. It makes your lips feel hydrated and moisturized. And I just find that if you're someone that really doesn't like that sticky balm feeling, but you do like something more cushiony with a touch of shine, liquid lip balms are always what I go back to and what I recommend. This formula I think is awesome. I love the applicator, I love the packaging. Now, the only thing I don't love about these liquid lip balms is that the more I use them, the more I do feel like the shades are they're very on the nose. They aren't as nuanced as I would like. And I found that within the entire range of the Stay Vulnerable line from Rare Beauty, like within their liquid eyeshadows, even within their blushes, it did kind of feel like the shades, they were just lacking a little bit of nuance. Do you feel like that was the case with the liquid lip balms as well? So I just wish that they would add more shades, some shades with some different undertones. Like this is the shade Nearly Rose, and it just feels a little bit more neon than a rose I would typically expect. Personally, these are my 2 favorite shades. I love Nearly Mauve as well as Nearly Neutral. These are the ones that I'm reaching for the most, but let's compare them to a new launch from L'Oreal. These are the L'Oreal Glow Paradise Balm-in-Gloss liquid lip balms. They retail for $10.99. You get 0.23 ounces and they come in 12 different shades. I have 2 shades. I have the shade 120 Rose Harmony and 90 Rosy Utopia. I'm wearing Rose Harmony on my lips today. This formula is everything that I love about the Rare Beauty formula, but with more shades to choose from. One thing that I don't like though is that the applicator is a little bit weird. So this one's definitely defective, but I got this one and it's broken. Like this is not gonna work, which does make it annoying because I absolutely love this shade, but I think this is what they're supposed to look like. They're supposed to have a slant. Aside from that, the applicator does feel nice and cushiony on the lips, and the formula itself feels so luxurious. The formula is super, super similar to the Rare Beauty ones. If anything, like, honestly, if you gave me both formulas and I applied them and you told me which is which, I would probably get it wrong. Rose Utopia does have a touch of a shimmer throughout, but I don't notice it on my lips. It doesn't really translate. Whereas Rose Harmony, the shade I'm wearing today, has no shimmer to it whatsoever. It just has that touch of chocolate brown, which makes this just the coolest, just everyday nude color. I absolutely adore it. And these shades, to me, they feel more nuanced than the Rare Beauty. There are also 12 different shades to choose from, so I just feel like there's a better chance you're going to find the shade that you're looking for. These do have a touch more shine to them as well. I just feel like these are a little bit, just very slightly thicker, so they can give you a little bit more shine. Overall, I'm gonna say that you guys should save and go with the ones from L'Oreal. I absolutely love these. I will certainly be purchasing more. And if I'm being honest, if I hadn't just started trying out this liquid lip balm formula, I could easily see this being in my best beauty for 2021. Speaking of lip products for this year, everyone and their mom has been enjoying Clinique Black Honey. This is a product that has definitely had a resurgence. I've actually done an entire video outlining potential dupes for Clinique Black Honey, so I'll leave that video linked down below just in case you're interested in some of the other items I have compared this product to. Retails for $20. You get 0.07 ounces. I do think that this formula in and of itself is unique, but I think this shade in particular is really what has gained a lot of traction. Beautiful about it is that it's just a really gorgeous brown black cherry kind of shade that really is going to be flattering on most people. It's also quite sheer, so it's a really easy product to wear for every day. I just love that it has that perfect balance between red, brown, and purple. It's super, super pretty, especially for this time of the year. Like, I just feel like for winter, it really is a pretty iconic color. It's kind of like a gel balm lipstick formula. It definitely doesn't feel like a traditional lipstick whatsoever. Again, it does have more of that kind of translucent base to it. But I'm already gonna say, spoiler alert, you guys, I prefer this product to Clinique Black Honey. So this is the e.l.f. Sheer Slick Lipstick in the shade Black Cherry. It retails for $5 and you get 0.06 ounces of product. And also the Sheer Slick line has a lot more shades than the Almost Lipstick line from Clinique. This has a touch, a very, very slight touch more purple to it than Clinique Black Honey, but on the lips, it's pretty much indistinguishable from me. But the reason I prefer this product to Clinique Black Honey, not just because it's much cheaper, again, this is like $5. I prefer this because I just think it's more flattering. I find that even if I have dry lips, I can kind of blot this out and get just a smoother look to my lips. This has a little bit less shine than the Almost lipsticks do. It almost gives me just a touch of a blur to my lips. And if you have chronically dry lips, with a shade like this, it can really exaggerate that dryness. It just kind of softens the lip lines a little bit. It's still more of that sheer balm formula. And I think for this shade, it ends up working out better for me. I'm a huge fan of this. And if you've been a fan of Clinique Black Honey for a long time, like I know a lot of you guys have, but if you do have a little bit more of a drier lip type, the way that I do, you might be surprised. And lastly, let's talk about some cream blush. Actually, it's more of a liquid kind of cream blush. So this is from Milk Makeup, is their Bionic blushes. So these released earlier this year, retail for $20. You get 0.27 ounces of product and they come in 4 different shades. Something that I immediately noticed upon using this product is that it looks quite dewy when you put it out like on the back of your hand, but on the skin, this actually is quite a natural kind of finished product. I did a little bit more research on it, and this is actually like a shea butter based liquid blush, which in skincare, I absolutely love shea butter. If you have dry skin, shea butter is like, that should be your best friend. I absolutely love it. So I was kind of intrigued by that. And it makes sense why I've always kind of felt like this formula has it just kind of has a fluff to it. And shea butter can have that kind of whipped fluff texture. Though I do appreciate that it is shea butter based, I kind of wonder if that's the reason why I'm not a huge fan of this one. I just find that it doesn't really adhere to my skin as well. Like, it does feel like it's kind of, again, kind of like a moisturizer that just kind of like sits on top of my makeup a little bit. There are some times where I think it doesn't look half bad, but with cream blush, I really want that very smooth, even pigment. And because sometimes it looks good and sometimes it doesn't, for me, that I just like very consistent makeup. Consistency is very important to me. Sometimes it kind of like messes with the products that I have under it, which is something that I definitely don't like. For 20 bucks, I would personally pass. I have a lot of affordable cream blush options that are half the price. This is the one that I wanted to compare it to. the Flower Beauty Blush Bombs. They retail for $10.29. You get 0.3 ounces of product and it comes in 8 different shades, so it's also double the shades. Now, the pigmentation on these is pretty similar to the Milk Makeup, but depending on what shade you get with the Flower Beauty, you will get more or less pigment. So today I have the shade Pinched on my cheeks, and this is more of a sheer pigmentation, whereas Melon definitely has a little bit more pigment. I find that the Milk Makeup is something kind of in between these two shades. The finish of these are definitely a little bit more dewy than the Milk Makeup, but it does kind of just wake up your skin. It still adheres well though and looks quite even on the cheeks. It just has a beautiful freshness about it. Now, these aren't going to last a super long time, but they're going to fade evenly. They're not going to mess with the makeup that you have going on under them. And they're definitely one of my favorite affordable blushes out there. So Save or Splurge, I would personally save. All right, guys, and that was another episode of Save or Splurge. I hope that you guys found this helpful. If you did, definitely make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And I'll also leave my Save or Splurge playlist for you all in case you're interested in some of the other comparisons I've done. Thank you as always so much for watching, you guys, and I will see you in my next one.